Hey everybody, Kelly Engineering here, and welcome to episode 28 of Project Ozone 3. Right now, what I am doing is, oh, hang on, I need to make sure this is set up properly first, is I'm going to transfer my XP that I have in this quantum tank into a fluid dictionary converter, and I'm going to turn it into essence and then transfer essence into this mechanism dynamic tank. I have quite a few dynamic tanks now, 14 to be exact. I went through each of the cows and figured out which ones would be the most useful to me at this point in the game. And yeah, so I have like refined fuel, naphtha, biocrude, corallium, and yeah, liquid nitrogen. I just have a whole bunch of the cows I thought would be useful, including the void cow. But yeah, I'm working on getting essence now, and I have plenty. I have more experience than can even go into this tank, but whatever. I have a lot to show you after this. Really? Oh, is it because it's paused? Oh, it doesn't require power. Duh. Alright. Look at that. Look at all that essence. So I'm going to transfer this essence into here. Let's not have that. Alright, yep, and we have essence flowing in, though not very quickly. Let's get some speed upgrades in that. Speed upgrades. There we go, that's much quicker. And you can actually see that the tank level is raising little by little. And I'm happy with that. I'm just going to let that run. In between episodes, what I did is I expanded out the factory like I said I was going to. And I started making all of the nuclear craft machines and trying to clear out the nuclear craft section. I am not going to make a fission or fusion reactor. I just got the order of that mixed up. But a fission or fusion reactor in this series. Extreme Reactors is already taking care of everything I need. And unless I need a very specific isotope from the nuclear craft stuff, I'm not going to get into it. It's too complicated. It would take multiple episodes. And like I said, Extreme Reactors is taking care of all my power needs. And yeah, so including my Ender IO alloy smelters are already taking care of what these alloy furnaces do, and much quicker to boot. The rock crushers are actually the most useful machine because I can put andesite, diorite, and granite here and get some rare materials out of it for nuclear craft that I may need to use later. This area right here is going to be reserved for extended crafting once I get to that. I also made this little back room right here, so the main section of the base where all of my all of the armor sets from tier 1. I remade so many. This took me about one day in order to make all of it because I had to collect all of the materials and I had to make the leather, then I had to make a leather and then coal, then I had to make leather, coal, and copper. It was terrible. So I went through all of that. But yeah, in this back room, this is where I'm going to be putting Woot farms. That's what we're going to be doing this episode. So yeah, Woot farms. This back room. I also put this little elevator here and moved my portals down here. This is an unfinished space. I'm going to wall it all off and actually make a... Yeah, I'm going to wall it off and make sure mobs can't spawn down here, because right now mobs can still spawn down here. But yeah, this is going to be where all my portals go. Also, in preparation for setting up the Woot farm, I tore down the manual mob farm. I haven't moved the barrels over yet, but it's whatever. All of these barrels will eventually get transferred over there for the mobs I put into a Woot farm. Right now I'm only planning on Guardians, Wither, and the Ender Dragon. I cleared out the mess that was over here, where the portals were, and then, yeah, I had modular storage right here from my builder, all of that stuff, but I moved it over here, turned the barrels into flat barrels. The reason why people have been non-stop suggesting that I use barrels instead of the storage drawers, because barrels have infinity upgrades. I haven't been doing that because I can't make the barrels look like the fiery nether bricks I've chosen for this build. So yeah, it doesn't match. So that's why I've been using the storage drawers instead, because I can force those to look like fiery nether bricks. But for now, I have all of these resources from my building, and I'm going to keep them here for now. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to create is yet another hammer, or the Yah hammer. So with the yaw hammer, I can use this to create most of the things that I need for this mod. First of which being some Stygian iron ore. So let's make some Stygian iron ore. As you can see, the yaw hammer doesn't have durability, so I don't know how much. Yeah, I'm just gonna make a whole stack of it. I'm gonna make a whole 2 stacks of it. All right, 2 stacks of Stygian iron ore, and I'm gonna go get this smelted up. I never get tired of seeing that go through. I know that I can make this a stack upgrade by putting glowstone on that, but whatever. It's fast enough for me. I don't really care. So, oh, all my nether bricks. Once again, and I'll bring it up just for posterity's sake. If you are throwing any of the netherrack inside one of the furnace overhaul furnaces, and an ore processing upgrade is in there, then say fiery netherrack. Fiery netherrack will become normal nether brick. You have to take the ore processing upgrade out in order for you to get the fiery brick. And I keep making that mistake. I keep forgetting myself, so I'll mention it again. Ore processing upgrade will not process the netherrack properly. So, yeah. That's where all these come from. But we have our Stygian iron ore. So, with the Stygian iron ore, what we need to do is make a Stygian iron plate. We can make iron blocks. The Stygian iron anvil, which is very important to us. And, yeah, all of the upgrade bases. So you're going to need quite a bit of Stygian iron ore, and I'm going to have to make some more. It's all good. So I'm making the Stygian iron anvil, or I would be if I had a Stygian iron block. There we go. Stygian iron anvil. I'm going to set this down right over here in the corner. Boom. Next thing we create is the Stygian iron plate, and the Stygian iron plate is made just with 2 Stygian iron ingots and the yaw hammer. So 1, 2, 3, 4 are all I need. So then I'm going to need, in order to make these all of these dyes, I need iron bars, a stone slab, redstone, and nether quartz. And that's easy enough. I'm going to grab that real quick. Alright, so I have the items I need, so I'm going to place this iron bar. Oh, and make sure the anvil's sitting on a magma block. But I'm going to place the item here, and then I'm going to drop the Stygian iron plate on top. I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful with that. Where are they? But place that on top, and then hit it with the yaw hammer. And boom, look at that. Got the mesh dye. So I'm going to do the same thing with the stone slab, redstone, and nether quartz. I'm going to have all of the dyes necessary in order to make this, in order to make my Woot farms. Boom, baby. All right, I have all of my, all the dyes. Just wait for the quest to update. There we go. And after that, I can make the Woot multi-block. So I'm going to need to make a lot of things for this in order to make it work. But I'm just going to create a... there's a hammer that shows an outline of each of the Woot multi-blocks. I'm going to make that hammer and place one down and just show you, and then I'll craft all of the materials necessary for it. Alright, so this factory layout right here, I'm going to make one, and why don't I have the necessary materials for that? There we go. Alright, factory layout. Let's go get this thing set up over in the Woot place. So now that I have the factory layout, I'm going to place it down here, and just so you know, I should actually have placed it down 1 block lower, but this will do for now. So this is a tier 1 Woot multi-block, or at least how the layout should be of one. So it shows you exactly where each of the pieces need to be in order for this to work, and you can also right-click it, and it'll upgrade its tier. So this is the tier 2, the tier 3, and the tier 4. And the tier 4 is massive. Oh, actually, like I left myself like a perfect amount of room. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have the tier 4 in the center, and I'm going to have the tier 3, 2 tier 3s in the corners. The tier 4 is what's going to be needed for the Ender Dragon, and I'm not even sure whether or not it tells you. Yeah, it doesn't tell you. I'll go over it when we get to it. But Yeah, it will actually tell you later on down the road what the tier of the mob is and what farm is going to be required for it. But yeah, this is the tier 4. As you can see, it is a meshoof, and we're going to have to make quite a few materials for it. So if you shift right click it, then it will progress up the layers. So that's no issue. But yeah, right here, you place it all down and then shift right click the block again. It'll move up one. Yeah, that's awesome. But what I wanted to make was the intern. So this will actually build a factory for you if you have the materials in your inventory. So if you make this hammer, and it's kind of just it looks almost like the yaw hammer, but if you make it, you have the materials necessary for a complete factory layout, then you can make the factory right then and there, and no need to place the blocks automatically, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get these all these pieces made, and I'll be back with you as I'm making each piece, just so you can know what goes into them, and I'll give a brief explanation of what each one does. So the first thing I'm going to have to create are these factory casings. So the factory casings have different recipes for them, and all of them require a factory base. Factory base requires a soul stone. The soul stone requires soul dust. Now, soul dust, I could just use my yaw hammer and a piece of soul stone and get one piece of soul dust, or I could use a Stygian anvil and a mesh die to get 3 from 1 soul sand, and that is the route I'm going to go. So I place my mesh die on there, and I'm going to drop an entire stack of soul sand on there. And then, oh man, what was that? So drop an entire stack of soul sand, and then, oh, nothing's going right. Yaw hammer. So you see, I got that dust going everywhere. It's making 3 each time, so I have to go through the entire stack of it. Wow, that's a lot. There we go. So now I have plenty of soul dust. And when I say plenty, I mean not nearly enough at all. I made the intern, and if you're using the intern, then you can just shift, right click, and it will see down in the lower left it's changing its tiers. Depending on what tier you have selected, it will show you what materials it requires in order to automatically make the factory for you. The stuff that's in red down at the bottom is stuff that the intern will not place. And that's stuff you're going to have to place manually. So the factory heart, the factory controller, all that stuff. And yeah, so I'm going to start making those soul casings now. And the soul casing is made with boom, or correction, soul stone. Yeah, look at that. So I'm going to keep making as many as possible, because I am going to need more than 64. If you look at the tier 4 recipes, oh yeah, even in the tier 3, I need 60 factory ender casings. So if I'm going to make 2 tier 3 and 1 tier 4, then yeah, I'm going to need a heck of a lot more soul dust in order to make this work. But so I have my soul stone and I have my Stygian iron. Well, I don't have my Stygian iron plates. I need to make those. Once again, I could use 2 Stygian iron ingots and get 1 Stygian iron plate, or using the Stygian anvil, 1 ingot will become 1 plate. And that is, of course, the route that we're going to go. So I'm going to make 64 of them, just so I can make my factory casings. My factory bases, rather. There we go. That should be 64. Indeed it is. So get rid of cobblestone. Don't need that cobblestone. So we'll put my soul stone in here, just in a diamond pattern. Put the Stygian iron plates, and bam. 4 stacks of factory bases. Alright, I'm ready to make my my flesh casings right now. And up here I've divvied out all of the factory bases I'm going to need, and even with those 4 stacks I made, I only have 18 left over. And I calculated in how to make a total of 2 tier 3 factories, and yeah, got 18 left over from my 4 stacks. But factory flesh casings, the red guide block, so it says. But the red guide block is the one right here, the one that surrounds the interior. Yeah. And then after that we have the bone, which are these gray. Then we have the blaze and the ender. In any case, I am going to make the rest of my casings that I need, which are the bone, the ender, and the blaze. And then I'm going to make some more factory bases in preparation for the Tier 4. But I'll be back with you after those casings are made so that we can start making the factory controller and the factory heart. The next thing that we're going to be creating is the upgrade base. So the upgrade base is, how to explain? Purple? That's most definitely blue. Regardless, the upgrades go right here, and there are various upgrades like head hunting, and I actually think they're all listed right here. Yeah, mass upgrade, increase the amount of mobs the Woot multi-block produces, the rate, how fast they spawn, looting, efficiency, XP, and decapitate. But yeah, the higher the tier, the more upgrades that they can actually take. So, yeah. I just made those. I made a total of 8 because the tier 3 requires 4, so yep, just doubling everything up. But yeah, those are the upgrade bases. It's pretty simple. I will make each individual upgrade to suit my needs. But yeah, for right now, I'm not really worried about crafting all of the individual upgrades, and they all speak for themselves as well. But on to the next one, which is the factory caps. Right here. Oh, that's the difference. It's green. Okay, gray and green. Between Ender and Blaze. Cool. So if I'm going to make the factory caps, I need to make a factory cap core. So each of the cores, in order to make each of the caps, requires a different type of shard, but the same type of core. So I've already made the quartz shards. I still need to make diamond, emerald, and when I work on the tier 4, I'm going to have to make nether star shards. And that's just throw the nether star on a Stygian anvil with the shard die on top, and you'll get the shards that you need. So you get 3 quartz, diamond, and emerald, but you'll get 9 nether star shards. So you get some bang for your buck with the nether shards, but not much else. I'm going to make these cap cores, which is a Stygian iron plate and a block of redstone with a core die on top. So core die, drop the iron plate, drop the redstone, and hit with the eye hammer. Boom. Alright, I got my 22. Oh, and they only go up to 16. So I have the 22 that I need in order to complete the tier 1, 2, and 3 for my 2 tier 3 factories. And I'm going to get right on that. So I won't bother making the shard on camera because, like I just explained it speaks for itself. So here we go. The next thing that we're going to be creating is the factory heart. So I'm just going to drop this stuff over here. Need a block of Stygian iron, magma blocks, and of course those red plates we've been using so much. But got 2 of the factory hearts combined with a factory base. And look at that, factory hearts. So I've placed one of the factory hearts over here at the tier 3 factory, and I have my intern ready to go. So if you hit the intern, oh, okay. So if you hit the continuously hit the factory heart with the intern, it'll fill in the necessary blocks that you have so far. So of course I'm going to be holding it quite a bit. There we are. Okay, so I have all of those in place. Wonderful. So I still need to make the factory controller, and that's quite a process. So I will be right back to show you what the factory controller does and how to make one properly. Each factory controller applies to a different mob. So yeah, we're going to have to take that into account. I'm going to make up the proper mob crystal. Be back with you shortly. So I have put my shard die and a bunch of Eye of Enders on top of my anvil. And wow, look at all those shards go. So I made more than was necessary to make. Oh, they do not stack. All right. So this is a relatively new concept to me, if I'm honest, because it used to be you used a prism to get mob stuff in order to program the controller with mobs. So I'm about to head into the hunting dimension. That is the mining dimension. About to head into the hunting dimension and program one of these shards. Alright, so with a shard in hand, all I have to do is... boom. So I just captured a mob inside this shard. And if you look down, the icon is now different. So it says that there is a skeleton in this, and all I have to do is kill a skeleton with the shard in my inventory. Boom. And now you'll see that my shard started glowing. So this means that this shard is now programmed with a skeleton in it, and I can use it to make a factory controller. And the prisms that used to capture the mobs is now used in the recipe for the controller core. So yeah, this is all very different to me, and I'm going to capture a couple more mobs, including the Wither, and oh, definitely a Wither skeleton. So when you hit the mob, I just hit the Wither skeleton, and it'll show you how many mobs you need to kill in order for this thing to be perfectly programmed. Now, these two mobs that I just tried it with, I've only had to kill one each. So that's lucky for me. I don't know if this pack has anything else. Let's hit the creeper. Need to kill one creeper. Alright, so kill the creeper. That's programmed. Kill one spider. Yeah, it looks like it's just one mob each. The thing that I really want to work on is the Wither. So I'm going to go spawn in a Wither. And then get this Ender Shard all well and program this Ender Shard with a Wither. Alright, just spawned in a Wither. And actually this was a stupid idea considering my portal's right there, but whatever. So... Alright. Captured the mob. Oh, only need to kill one Wither. Boom. Oh yeah, he's super powerful since I've been multi-killing these things. And boom. Wither dead. Yep, and now I have a fully programmed Wither Ender Shard. So let's head back to the main world and make a controller core out of this. Before I make the factory controller though, I am going to... Oh boy, that was silly. Before I do that though, I'm going to head into the Lost Cities dimension, and I'm going to find myself a temple, a guardian temple. So there are multiple ways to spawn guardians in this pack, mainly using the dolls. So let's type in guardian. Over here, see this protecting doll? So drop in a bottle of water to a barrel of water to spawn a guardian. And I can make those. They're super easy to make. I have plenty of fish. And yeah, drop it into a barrel of water and it'll spawn it. It's how I got my blitzes, my blitz, my blizz, and my basalls using these protecting dolls. But I want an elder guardian for my shard. So I'm going to find one of the temples and get an elder guardian. Here we are. We got a nice temple right here. And it looks like it killed one of the Lost City tracks. Regardless, I'm going to rush in and get one of the... Boop. It's not like they can hurt me, so whatever. Yeah. There we go. Alright, so programmed, killed, programmed. Alright, so I got myself an Elder Guardian. And actually, hang on, what did he give me? Oh, just what I wanted. So I had this question the other episode, why my breath wouldn't go down. And it wasn't saturation like I thought. It was actually, well, you know, I completely forgot what it was. No, regardless, it'll come to me. That's what it was. A user in the comment section, Felix Medina Lugo, brought up the fact that it's a Lordcraft passive. So, yeah, respiration. Oxygen regenerates when in water slowly. So, yeah, that is the reason why I wasn't... That's the reason why I wasn't drowning and my bubbles, my air kept regenerating. So, thank you very much for that, Felix. And, yeah, he told me a couple of episodes ago, but I didn't bring it up, and I feel bad for that. But, yeah, thank you very much, Felix. For now, though, I have my Ender Shards, and I'm actually going to throw this stuff in the in here. So all I need to do now is make some prisms. Boom, got one prism, and apparently I need more red and orange dye. Alright, let's try this again. I got my red and orange prism. Right on. So the prisms used to be what you used in order to trap the trap the mobs inside in order to make the controller. Now, instead, what you do is you just combine it with an iron plate on the core die, and you get controller cores. Controller cores in a factory base on top of a programmed ender shard is what makes you a factory controller, and I'm going to do that now. So, core die, prism, and Stygian plate. No problem there. There we go, core. Take that away. Put down, here's my wither, booyah wither. And then drop the controller core. Oh, just one controller core. And one factory base on top. Yawhammer, factory controller. So you can see that the wither is a tier 4, which is actually kind of unfortunate for me. But since I was planning on using this for the Ender Dragon. Oh. And mob spawn on top of this. Great. We'll see whether or not, once this is a completed multi-block, whether or not that stands true. But yeah, right now I guess mob spawn on top of this. Great. I made the Elder Guardian, which is a tier 3. Bully for me. But I also did a little bit more reading on the Wither, and apparently the Wither requires me to actually manually provide the soul sand and the Wither skeleton skulls necessary in order to spawn it. It didn't used to be like that, and that is just plumb unfortunate. I'm going to place down my tier 3 factory controller with an Elder Guardian. Boom. And what else am I missing? I should not be missing anything. Oh, I need to put power and an importer and an exporter. Or actually, yeah, just power and an exporter down here. And for that, I actually think I'm going to build this down a little bit. Just like put an elevator here and have a little section where I'm going to house my power input and all of my barrels from the old mob farm. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'll be back with you as soon as that's done. It's going to take a little while. But after that, we'll complete the first tier 3 factory, and we'll figure out what mob we want to go in this tier 3 factory. Alright, the next thing that we got to do is we got to make some cores. So I'm going to throw this core die here. And the cores that we're making are the power cores, because I need to make 12 of these suckers. Oh yeah. The reason I'm making 12 of them is because I'm going to be making this advanced power cell for Woot, and each of those require 4 basic power cells as well as a power 2 book. And I'll show you my plan for those in just a sec. But now that I have these power cores, all I have to do is actually just combine them in a crafting grid. Don't have to use the anvil. It'd be nice if I actually had them all stack. There we go. Oh, and of course they don't stack. Alright. Well, I'm going to throw these in here then for when I am ready to do the advanced power cells. So I'm going to have to make more power cores for that, but whatever. It's only 3 more. Let's focus on this power 2 book. So I'm over here in my over at my loot bag opener, and I've been having my all of the enchanting books go right into this modular storage. And right here I have 9 power 2 books. I need 3 of them. But, oh, seriously? There we go. So, yeah. I can't find them anymore, but whatever. They're probably down here at the bottom. But I have my power 3 books. All I have to do is just throw those in my system. Advanced power cell. And 3. I have already made my importers and exporters. They're right here. So let's set those up down here. I made 3 extreme reactors for this, and each of them are receiving a bunch of Yellorium ingots just for a constant feed. And I'm actually going to set up this next to the main extreme reactor. I didn't need anything fancy, so this is a very inefficient reactor, but it'll handle all of my power needs needed for the for my Woot farms. So the way that you gotta set these up is anywhere 10 blocks below the factory heart, all you have to do is set up, I believe it's the exporter, the importer, and then the power cell. So we'll get these out here. Exporter, importer, power cell. And if you just, I'm going to set this up over here because I don't think I really got a good shot of it, but exporter, importer, and you see that there's still a gap in between, and advanced power cell. And they just became full blocks, which means I have a validated farm. All the blocks are now connected. If there was any doubt, and if there was any doubt, then using your yaw hammer, if you hit shift right click, then there is a validate mode. So validate tier 3 and you hit the heart with it, it'll say what each of the parts were, and if you were missing any parts for it to be a proper farm, it would tell you what those are. So boom, we have 2 Woot farms, one for Elder Guardians, one for Wither Skeletons. I've just connected power to the Elder Guardian farm, and it is going. I put this chest here temporarily. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put drawers here, and quite a bit of drawers actually, because a lot of fish drops from Elder Guardians. So the real thing I'm worried about are these Guardian scales. I'm going to need quite a bit of Guardian scales later on for my armor. And since I'm planning on making all of the armor, ooh, Guardian sword, that's nice. Since I plan on making every single bit of the armor, if my current display is any indication, this armor display over here, yeah, I'm going to need a lot of Guardian scales. So if you go over here and you right-click the heart of the factory, then it'll show you what type of mob is spawning, what your power is at, what it takes to actually spawn a mob. So in 320 ticks, it will spawn 1 Elder Guardian for me, and this is all of the drops that it's going to take. If I was doing the Wither or the Ender Dragon, then it would be requiring me to put some ingredients in there as well, which is what the importer's for. So you don't need to have any conduits. All you have to do is just put an inventory next to the factory importer or exporter, and it will take or eject those items automatically, as is the case with this iron chest right here. And the same with the power. I put a torch up here because mobs can still spawn on top of this. I could have any amount of blocks in between the heart and the advanced power cell, and remember, it has to be below the heart within 10 blocks. So, but I can put any amount of blocks in between, and it'll still recognize that the advanced power cell, the importer, and the exporter are there. So that's no issue. And I just hooked up the Wither Skeleton as well, and oh yeah, I'll be dumping these loot bags, no problem about that. But really the only thing I'm worried about from the Wither Skeleton farm is the Wither Skeleton skull fragments, and yeah, drops of evil. Oh, and the Wither Skeleton skulls themselves, because I'm going to be taking these Wither Skeleton skulls and filtering them immediately into the importer for my tier 4 farm, where I'm putting the actual Wither. And then I will put soul sand in another way. No issue about that. But yeah, so that's why I have the Wither Skeleton farm. It's also worth noting that I could make any sort of factory controller tier 3 and below, and pop it in here at any time I want. So I can just remove the Wither Skeleton controller, put in any type of mob in its place that isn't tier 4, and the factory will continue to start running, no problem. So you can just make all the factory controllers. If you need a certain mob drop, throw it on. Boom. Alright, the last thing I'm going to be making this episode are all of the actual upgrades for my Woot farm. So in order to do that, you need to make first the tier 1 stuff, then tier 2, then tier 3. You can't just go right to the tier 3 upgrades. It stacks like a totem pole. So I am going to get my core out. Core die. Throw that on. And redstone, iron, and of course those ever-present plates. Where's my hammer? We'll get you the tier 1. And then I'll make the tier 2, which is gold, glowstone, and the plates. And tier 3, which is diamond and prismarine shards. So I'm going to make those 3. And then I've already gone through and collected the books from my modular storage. But I am going to be making the rate upgrade, the looting upgrade, the mass upgrade, and the efficiency upgrade. And I'll explain what each of those do as I place them onto the farm itself. Alright, I have made the looting, rate, mass, and efficiency upgrades, and I've actually placed this lever right here on the heart, and it's off right now. The farm is not actually running. So yeah, you can put a lever there and stop the farm if you want. That's perfectly acceptable, but I'm going to start with the efficiency upgrades. What the efficiency upgrade does, and you see that it actually became part of the multi-block. Wow. What the efficiency upgrade does is it actually saves the amount of power that you're going to be using. Oh. So 227 RF a tick. I'll remove the tier 3. 242 RF per tick. 273 RF a tick. So each tier of efficiency increases the amount of power you're saving whenever the farm is actually running. You'll notice it didn't actually change the time. The time, that is what the rate upgrades are for, which is what I'm going to put next. So rate upgrade, rate upgrade, rate upgrade. Look at the heart. You'll see that the time is now 80 ticks. It only takes 80 ticks in order to spawn 1 Elder Guardian. However, you'll notice that the power went up quite a bit. That's because the more upgrades you apply to a Woot farm, the more power it's going to take. I will actually take away the efficiency, and honestly I should have done them last anyway, just to prove this point. But now I'm going 2240 RF per tick with just the rate upgrades. So next upgrade that we'll put in there is going to be the mass 1. So the mass upgrades are what I just put 1 down, so yeah, I guess we can take a look. You'll see that I'm actually going to be spawning 2 Elder Guardians now. And with the rate 3, I'm going to be spawning 6 Elder Guardians. So you're going to have to be careful. Each mass upgrade that you install here, it will only increase mobs based on whatever mob is in here. So the Elder Guardian up to the mass 3 upgrade is only going to be spawning 6. But if I put the rate 3 onto the Wither farm, when the Wither farm is up and running, then I will only be spawning 3 Withers instead. And let's see. Oh yeah, power's now at 4,800. The last one that we got to be doing is the looting, and that actually speaks for itself, so I don't really have to explain that. There we go, part of the multi-block, and 5760 RF per tick. Alright, let's put the efficiency back and see how much we save ourselves. Honestly, not bad considering that this is a fully upgraded mob farm. But yeah, let's turn it on, take a look. Oh yeah, that's super fast. However, the drops I'm getting, why am I not getting the... That is weird. So putting the looting upgrade on there increased my chance of getting the base drops. Let's see, looting 1. Get out of here. Huh. That's weird to me, and I don't know why. If somebody could explain that, or and I'm going to take a look at the GitHub myself. But yeah, putting in the looting upgrade should not have removed drops from the farm. Huh. Oh well, I'll do some reading, figure out what's up with that, and turn the farm off for now. Alright, so I'm looking at the Wither Skeleton farm right now, and everything has been upgraded with the exception of the looting upgrades. So the problem I was having before with it not recognizing the drops, well, that was because I wasn't giving the factory enough time. Technically speaking, you see that I have the drops here, but whenever I attach a looting upgrade to a farm, and I look at it again, you see that there are no drops. That's because the farm hasn't actually calculated what the loot table for a Wither Skeleton is, or what a Guardian was when that farm was, when I was looking at that farm earlier. So if I actually let this thing run, you'll see that now that it has actually killed a Wither Skeleton, it's generated some drops. The farm knows that this is something a Wither Skeleton can drop. So if I let this go for a while, and I've been letting the Guardian go for a while, so we'll take a look at him, you'll see that it has actually generated all of the possible drops that a Guardian can do for me, including the Guardian Scale, the thing I really cared about. So that is, that's how that works. If I had attached, hang on, let's turn this off. I'm going to attach looting 2 to it. You see that the drops disappeared again. That's because the looting 1, 2, and 3 upgrades generate a separate table from the from everything else to actually decide what a controller to factory to looting pairing is. So that is the reason why I was not seeing all of the mob drops before. So turn it on, let it run, give it time to actually generate the loot table, and you'll see that all of the drops will generate in time. But with that, I think I'm going to call this an episode. It was pretty productive. We got 2 Woot farms up and running, and I'm going to be knee-deep in Guardian and Wither drops in no time flat. Set up my little energy area downstairs. That's all fine. In between episodes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Tier 3 farm up and running and get my Withers started to spawn. I'm also going to create a way to get all of the Wither Skeleton Skulls and the Soul Sand into the Wither farm. And I'm going to, instead of barrels, I was thinking I was going to do barrels, but I have decided against that. Well, putting the barrels right next to the exporter. And what it's going to do is going to be another ender chest. And that ender chest is going to connect directly below this item barrel connector. And the item barrel connector is hooked into my ME system in the back. So, yeah, that's the ME system right there. So, oh, and I still have my nether ore. Regardless, the any drop that goes into the ender chest is going to get pushed into the item barrel connector, and all of my Woot drops are going to go in there and be part of the ME system, not taking up any drive space. But yeah, that's how I'm going to do things, and that's going to be my in-between episode stuff. But with that, I am Kelly Engineering. Next episode, I'm going to have to get into another magic mod because I'm almost teched out. Yeah, I need to get into Botania or blood magic, and I'm really not looking forward to, or Abyssalcraft. I'm going to get into Abyssalcraft. I haven't done an Abyssalcraft since 1.7, so this is going to be fun. Next episode is going to be Abyssalcraft. But I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'm Kelly Engineering. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.